My name is Michelle. I run Thunderpeep Designs, which is a kind of quirky, not so boring stationery company. I do greeting cards, notepads, invitations, things like that. And I wanted to be part of the marketplace today because I sell a lot online, but it's nice to get out and get to meet your customers and sort of interact with them, see what, I watch them laugh at my cards all day long, so it's really gratifying, and to find out what works. I love shipping, especially with Etsy. Now I can ship internationally, so it's fun for all the different countries for me to ship to. And it's fun because I sell cards, so they're usually flat, so they're stamps. So it's fun to get the different stamps, like depending on where I'm shipping it to. And so the person on the other side gets all these fun little Canada stamps, and a lot of them deal with our history or, things from our past in Canadian history, I guess for that. But it's fun to have their experience to open it because they're getting a little piece of Canada in their mailbox because I do ship quite a bit internationally, so it's really fun that way. I love being a seller on Etsy. Because it gives me an outlet to not just for the Toronto market. Obviously now I can ship internationally. I can open up my designs and my creations to people all over the world. And it's amazing to see people react to something that I've created in a completely different country, a completely different culture, but they're still getting a little piece of me, a little piece of Canada, and a little piece of what I find fun. Shipping keeps me up at night, just marketing, anything trying to get yourself noticed. I mean, Etsy now is a huge marketplace, so you want to find your spot there and you want to get to your customers. Shipping problems, it's always difficult when you're dealing with other countries because you never kind of know what's going on with duty or over their borders or things like that. That's always worrisome. Shipping times, things getting lost, those kind of things are always worrisome as a small business because a large corporation, if something gets lost in the mail, I mean, it's no big deal for them to just replace it. They'll send out a replacement shipment right away. But when you're a small business, it's harder to kind of recoup that cost if you have to ship out a replacement that got lost or damaged in post, things like that. It's amazing. Like this, it's 3 o'clock I think now, and it started at 10 and it hasn't stopped. Like it's amazing. People are so receptive to buying things locally made. It's something a little bit different. It's not maybe what you're gonna find in a big department store. Every little piece is unique. So I think people are just getting excited. They're here and they're kind of in a little frenzy and they're just overwhelmed by all this new stuff, and being able to interact with artists is a big deal too, because you may look at something when you're in the store and think, oh, this is really cute, but you don't get any kind of story behind it. Whereas when you come to a marketplace like this, you can talk to the vendor, you can ask about the story. I mean, they'll probably give you the story behind it because we all love talking about our product. Well, mostly I just want to interact with the person. I mean, I think when you're a small creative business, you're not as much about the hard sale, like the real salesmanship sort of deal. So I just want to interact with them, maybe give them a little bit of feedback about, if I have a card with a funny line on it, maybe where I found that line, or if it has something to do with a personal story of my own, like if it was a funny saying between a friend and I and it ended up on a card, and then they think about their friend that they want to give it to. It's more sort of, I think, about making that connection with them than necessarily how do I make this sale happen, because usually when you make a connection with someone, you make the sale. You finally get to take it to people, and especially in Canada, like I think the shop local and buy Canadian hasn't caught on as quickly as it has, say, down in the US. I think we're sort of finally getting it. We're like, well, we should be supporting our businesses. We should be supporting our own locally made goods. Why do we need to bring it? I mean, there's lots of great stuff that comes in from other countries, but maybe we should support our own. I think making things easier, I think, because when you have to get into more complicated things like light air packet mail and things like that, sometimes it can be really overwhelming and confusing, because sometimes you go in and I'll have a package that's going to the States and going to Canada, and for some reason the Canadian one is like double the price of the US one, but you're like, well, it's not traveling as far, so it can be a little confusing. I think maybe if you sort of, I don't know, I'm not sure how you do that within the business, but little things like that, like just making it more streamlined, maybe making it easier to to place orders online, because I know that you sort of have that now where we can sort of place the shipment and they'll pick it up, or I'm not 100% sure how that works, but little things like that. Because when you're a small business, you don't always have much time because you're usually carrying multiple hats. So for me, it's time. Because I mean, my business is small and it's still growing, so I still actually work a full-time job. So I have my full-time job that helps pay bills and stuff, and so my Thunderpeep is full-time. So finding time is time. If I had more time in a day, it would be great. But yeah, so anything that helps, little things like shipping. Like, I actually have a really good post office by my house, and I know the guy, like, I've been going to him for a couple of years now. So he's really good about getting me through. I understand things because he's explained them, and he's like, gives me the forms so that I can fill them out at home and not have to worry about, taking up time in the line or anything like that. Little things like that. Maybe that's a good thing, is maybe if there was little packets for information on if you're shipping, especially over the border, like those little duty claims forms, things like that, if they were maybe more accessible. I don't know if they're accessible even online, but I only know because he gives them to me. I always thought they had to fill it out, but he's like, no, you can take it and fill it out at home, and then just bring it in, drop it off, you're done. So that saves a little bit of time. Because I like to package up my cards too. I don't just throw it in an envelope and put a stamp on it. I like to I'll put a little thank you note in the inside, and I'll seal up my envelope, and I'll put like little decorative tapes on it. So it's more of an experience when they get it. It's not just another piece of mail, especially as a stationary person. Like, I want to bring back people mailing cards. So I want to make the experience really memorable, so they'll be like, that was fun, I should do that for another one of my friends, or I want more mail from my friends. So little touches like that you can do to make it a more fun experience when they open their mailbox and say, oh, look, what's this? It's an order, or it's a card from a friend. Little touches like that make a difference.